Hello everyone, welcome back to Behind the Eye of Odin. I'm your host Eric. Last time we went ahead and left off with finishing the sterilization process. What we're ready to do now is open up the bucket. As you can see, the bucket is behind me on a table. The reason it's on the table and not on the floor is because we want gravity to do the work for us, more or less. And we're going to have the carboy a lot lower. So we'll go ahead and open up. I'll show you what it looks like inside. If anything's wrong, I'll explain what's wrong. And then we'll go ahead and move on. Okay, so now that we're ready to do this, the first thing we're going to do is pull the airlock out. You got to be really, really careful not to get this water back in. You don't want that. The reason you don't want that is because if the water that this has been, if the water goes back in, the problem with that is it's going to make it taste really terrible. So I'm going to see if I can't break the seal first so that I can pull the airlock out without worrying about it too much. There we go. Alright. Much better. Oh, it smells like beer in here. Beautiful. Now the water that's in this airlock, just throw it out. You don't want it anymore. You're going to refill this with fresh water later. And then I'm going to take this and drop it back in the sink because we're going to re-sterilize this whole thing. It won't be terrible. Rinse first. Okay. Now that we've got the airlock out, we're free to open this up without being too worried about dropping things in. Now you can buy a bucket opener if you want to. I've got one, I just don't care. Oh, hear that? That's a good seal. Oh, lovely. Now you can see that there are bubbles in here. It's not from sloshing around, that's actually from the fermentation process. Next thing we're going to do is grab the hydrometer, and we're going to take the hydrometer, and because I don't have to worry about contamination because I already sterilized it, and as are my hands, stick it in there, spin it. The reason you spin it is so you can make sure there are no air bubbles on it and you actually get an accurate reading. You see that? Okay. So now we are at 23. I'm just writing this down somewhere where I can get it. Let's see. Okay, according to the hydrometer, unless I'm not doing this correctly, this is already almost 8% alcohol by volume, so 16 proof. So that's all we need to do with the hydrometer. We're going to pull that out and rinse it off a little bit. Okay, screw rinsing it off. We're just going to put it right back in the sanitizer so that we can deal with that again later. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the racking cane and the hose here. Make sure your hands are clean. One trick that I've been told is you can just use the sanitizer to kill anything that happened to get on your hands between here and there. Now you're going to wash your hands because this is basically powdered oxygen and it's a terrible thing to get on your hands for a very long time. Now here's the trick. Make sure I put this together beforehand. This side worked better. But try not to touch anything, including yourself. And what you're going to do is just get it hooked up like this. Make sure your other container is somewhere holdable. Oh, whoops. I forgot to empty the water out of this. So I'm going to have to take care of that. I'm going to make Ashton put down the camera and do that for me. So, he's going to empty that out, and when we come back, we're actually going to start the racking process. Okay, now that we've got the water out of the carboy, This is the most important part, okay? As long as this is sterilized inside and out, you're going to go ahead and put it in here. You don't want to go all the way to the bottom of the bucket because then you're going to pick up all the sediment, and I just ruined it. So I'm going to come over here and re-sterilize this a little bit, since I just smacked it on the ceiling. This sort of stuff happens. But since I smacked it on the ceiling, I'm going to re-sterilize and then come over here. This is the easiest way I've been told, is just set it in there at an angle. Don't go anywhere near the bottom of the bucket to start. And then this end of your hose obviously is going to go in your other container. The end of the hose is going to have to be as close to the bottom as you can get it. It can touch the bottom, that part doesn't really matter from what I've been told. So, then here we go with this. As you can see, the meat is much clearer in here than it looks in the bucket. And that should be about all I have to do. If you get a real good close-up on this hose, especially in this area here, you can see that it's already starting to flow in. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on the top bucket. This chair out of the way, sorry about the noise. And try and make it so that the mead will just flow down there. You're going to keep an eye on it on both the hose and the tip that's in the bucket. What you want to do is keep an eye right here. If it starts to get cloudy, then you're picking up too much sediment. If the tip of the siphon comes out of the must, you're going to have issues with having to restart it and stir up a lot more of that sediment. There should be kind of a thick layer of dead yeast at the bottom, and you don't want that. So this is basically racking. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and give me a holler, drop them in the comment section, and during the next step we'll probably rack this mead probably one more time if we have problems with clarity at that point, which is the purpose for racking. But if we have problems at that point, then maybe I'll make a video on that too. But until then, thanks for watching everyone, and Odin be with you.